Well, R. Kelly had his bond hearing on Saturday, and the judge set his bond at $1 million. Now, he put it at $250,000 per count. Now, so R. Kelly would have to pay $100,000 to get out of jail. As of Sunday, R. Kelly's still in jail as of right now. Now, R. Kelly, at one point in time, was worth $150 million. And now they state that R. Kelly is worth a merely $1 million. So much so that he can't even post bond, at least as of right now. According to his attorney, he don't have $100,000 sitting in the bank. So all of this really makes sense, at least to me. When he was making people money and he was putting out all these hits over and over and over and over and over, when he was selling these 75 million records at the time period, they weren't pursuing R. Kelly like that. Now, this tape that the prosecution say they have, you mean to tell me you've been sitting on this tape, or whoever had this tape, been sitting on it for years, okay? You mean to tell me R. Kelly could have been stopped a long time ago and you didn't produce this tape? Why all of a sudden, when the record labels aren't making the money off of R. Kelly anymore, when his net worth isn't $150 million anymore, now the surviving R. Kelly comes out. Now the charges come out. And, you know, for me, it makes sense. When you go back to the Cosby situation, right? They want to get at Cosby when he don't have the amount of money he used to have, when his popularity wasn't there. He wasn't making these white folks companies all this money. Now, all of a sudden, you come out and get Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? You look at Chris Brown. Yes, they want to get Chris Brown, but Chris Brown's still making money for them. When Chris Brown gets to the point that he's not making money for them anymore, watch how quick they'll find something to get Chris Brown on. See, I pay attention to how they do things. I pay attention to this system. But all this situation happened with R. Kelly, as I stated before, he did that to himself. There's no reason to be around no young girl or pursuing no young girl. Let's call that what it is. It's no reason. But it's another issue that I'm having with the R. Kelly situation. Because see, a lot of people on social media is bumping their gums about the black community and R. Kelly. And you don't know what you're talking about because a lot of you are too young to even remember that. I remember when the first situation happened with R. Kelly, and at first everybody was shocked about the first tape that came out. I didn't know not one person in the black community didn't want R. Kelly behind locked up. Not one. Everybody wanted R. Kelly locked up. Everybody wanted him to have his jail time. And it kept being postponed and postponed. Come on, y'all in my age group, you know what I'm talking about. The trial kept getting postponed for years. Every time you look up, they pushing the trial back. All the way to the point that it got pushed back. He had the 21 original counts. And then the girl said it wasn't her on the stand. You know all the situation with R. Kelly with the first trial. So to put this that the black community didn't want R. Kelly handled, and oh, well, the black community this and the black community that. And now, as I stated in the previous video, because some people, don't listen very well, I stated that not only R. Kelly, but those around him that facilitated him to do the things that he was doing with these young girls, who's driving him to do things with these young girls, who's picking up young girls for him, all of them need to be right along with R. Kelly in that jail cell, every last one of them. Why don't you start with that documentary? Because you had a few people in there admitting that they knew what R. Kelly was doing, saw him doing things allegedly, and yet none of them is getting jail time, or none of them is doing a perp walk with R. Kelly. No, they need to get perp walked as well. Because anytime you do a crime, what they call that? Contributing to a crime, right? So they need to go too, male and female. Because let's call that what it is. In our community, we know there are people that's running around here fooling around with young boys and young girls, that's male and female, that's grown. And some of us do turn a blind eye to it. Some of us do have this attitude, well, you keep people out your business type of deal. So no, I can't even accept some of the things that's being said, putting out this propaganda like black people didn't want R. Kelly behind locked up. Because R. Kelly and what he was doing was disgusting. Now, the $150 million that he had, I always was told that, if you don't do the right thing, the Lord will take it away from you. That's what I always was told. Because you can't explain to me, you got $150 million, and then R. Kelly comes out with a song talking about I admit it, and he said he couldn't read. How can you go along all that time without reading? You got $150 million, and you couldn't pay for a tutor to teach you how to read? You and Floyd Mayweather, the both of y'all, spending money but don't know how to read. Something that simple. Now, this is what I see with R. Kelly, personally, with this situation. And, you know, the prosecutor talked about the counts. R. Kelly behind going to jail. He going. But before he go to jail, I think he will bail out. I think he will. If anything, it's going to be someone in the music industry that has some deep pockets, and they're going to want R. Kelly to get out. And this is what they're going to tell R. Kelly, look, check this out. Like you know how Suge Knight did with Pocket first? He would say, hey, I'll bail you out. I'll give you the $100,000. But in exchange for that, I got about 3 artists that's on my label I just got going. And I need you to produce their 3 albums for me for the $100,000. 9 times out of 10, R. Kelly gonna do it because he don't want to be locked up in there. So there you go. Now you got 3 artists about to come out with their whole albums produced by R. Kelly, which would have cost them a lot of money. Now they get basically that guy or lady, whoever's gonna bail R. Kelly out, they got it like literally for nothing. Don't be surprised if something like that were to happen. Just remember, you heard it here first. Now, on top of him can't bail out of jail, R. Kelly owes child support to his first wife. And he was supposed to pay $161,663 by March the 6th or be held in contempt of court because his child support was $20,833 a month. I don't see how his child support that high. He ain't making that kind of money. I'm just saying. But that was his child support. Now, he also owed $166,000 on his studio. Now, let's talk about that particular studio that he had. Once again, we need to talk about money management, especially with us as black men. If you got all these millions of dollars, why are you leasing anything? You buy. You buy. I don't understand why people lease so much if you got the money. See, in America, they do this credit system, but if you go overseas, let's say to Africa or whatever, ain't no credit, nothing. You either buy it straight up or you don't have it. And that credit system, it really benefits those who are in the capitalistic society. Now, with the situation with R. Kelly and all the charges, even one of the women that was there that he did what he did with allegedly was in the courtroom. But also he had 2 women that showed up at the courtroom as well in support of him. So yes, there are people that support him, male and female. Now, what's very interesting about this case is that R. Kelly knew this was coming. That's like the crazy part about this. Most people don't know they're about to get arrested or charges about to come on them. He knew. And I thought that R. Kelly was going to like just fly the coop. I said, man, R. Kelly about to go somewhere. He about to go to Africa. He about to go to Indonesia with Russell. He going to do something. And he never left. That's why I was just quite shocked. I guess he thought that if he stayed here, he was going to get out some charges. That wasn't about to happen. They were salivating for R. Kelly. And like I say, it's kind of easy to get R. Kelly because he put himself in that predicament, sitting up there liking underage girls. Now, they said in the bond hearing that the first victim, that is a young female, she was 16 years old, and she was celebrating her birthday party. Now, they said his manager, R. Kelly's manager, that manager, okay, that's one. And I don't know if that's the one that got arrested a few weeks earlier, but his manager had gave her R. Kelly's card. So the girl's mother at the time told the manager and said, hey, she's 16 years old. Okay, so the girl, the 16-year-old, took the card from her mother's purse, contacted R. Kelly, and it stated that R. Kelly told her to skip school and come to his studio. That's what happened with that. This was said in open court. So the girl would go to his studio and do sexual acts with R. Kelly, and this happened between 98 and 99. The second indictment that you keep hearing about, the 14-year-old girl that said repeatedly on this tape that she's 14 and how he liked 14, whatever. I mean, that's just kind of sicko. I don't understand that. Like, what are you going to look at in a young 14-year-old girl? I mean, you're a grown man. They got just women throwing themselves at you, and you sitting up here, chasing little girls. That's so stupid to me. But it stated that that's how he got the 2 aggravated criminal sexual abuse charges. And they say this tape they are talking about had came to light in 2001 when a witness had a conversation with R.Kelly, and Associated was asked to retrieve the video showing the artist having sexual intercourse with the victim, and the witness had turned it over to police. Third indictment was one count of aggravated sexual assault involving a 24-year-old hairdresser that was hired to braid his hair. So he said he didn't want her to braid his hair, that he wanted a head massage, and he exposed his penis to her. He grabbed her head to force her to perform oral sex on him. So that's one of his charges that he has. It says she resisted. R. Kelly ejaculated on her and spit in her face. Well, R. Kelly is a extremely sexual deviant. Now, they say the fourth victim that's identified said met R. Kelly for an autograph while attending the 2008 trial on child pornography charges, okay? So they say according to the arraignment, R. Kelly was having sex with this particular young girl between a period of 2009 and January 2010, and she was between, they said, 13 and 17 at the time. Kelly's convicted on all counts. He could be in jail for 70 years, and basically R. Kelly can get a life sentence. But like I said, no one feels sorry for R. Kelly at all. No one feels sorry for him. That's his own fault. That's his own fault. He should have gotten married to a woman, stuck with her. But you know, his first wife said he was abusive and all the things that he was doing. But I'm gonna keep stating this: R. Kelly deserved to be locked up. He was a predator in the black community. We don't need predators in the black community. We don't. We don't need people killing folks in the black community. We don't need people dealing drugs in the black community. We don't need none of that. All that element needs to go. They have a good place for them. I support them being locked up on that. But I always go back to it. Let's get all the predators. Let's get all the people who kill. Let's get all the people who deal drugs. Let's not just point out one person. And one thing that I will not allow is that R. Kelly be the face for black men throughout America, and R. Kelly be the one that you try to use to criminalize black men. Because you know, they're always trying to find a way to criminalize black men. I mean, they've been doing that ever since they came over here and we were here, you know, at first, and then they brought some of us here too. They've been always trying to criminalize a black man. They won't leave a black man the hell alone. But you know, when you criminalize them and talk about what they do, oh, not all of us are that way. Don't sit up there and say all of us are this way or all of us are racist. It's just that one guy. Well, it's the same way with R. Kelly. None of us will represent that fool. R. Kelly, an idiot, and he needs to be locked up. If that's the case with him, it's proven that's what he did, he needs to be locked up. It's just that simple. Now, R. Kelly and Bill Cosby was two totally different things. Bill Cosby shouldn't be locked up. Not at all. R. Kelly, that's a different situation. I mean, R. Kelly has done a whole lot of things he shouldn't have been doing. But let me know what you think about R. Kelly. And before we wrap up the video, make sure you subscribe to our Advice Media Network channel. That's our other channel that we post news stories on. So when you see news stories here, the news stories to be there as well. You can just click the link that I have there. Subscribe. It's very easy to get to it. I want to make sure that you guys are getting all the stories that we are putting out in a day. And also follow us on Instagram. We also have our Twitter and also our Facebook page if you're there. Make sure you go to the pinned comment, to scroll down right there. Just click the links. It's so easy to do so. And then you will be on all our pages. But what do you think about the situation with R. Kelly? Do you think he will be bonded out of jail, or you think he's going to sit there? We don't know. But R. Kelly, I just think he's going to go to jail because R. Kelly has been getting away with a whole lot of things for a long time. But also, we need to find out all these people who's enabled R. Kelly all this time. And they need to be called out. They need to be exposed, and they need to be sitting in jail right with him.